Eczema. My name is TeresaAlabata, and today I'm going to talk about my experience with Candida and Eczema. And so if you've watched my traveling with eczema videos so far, I had one about my experience in Nandi, Fiji, where I experienced prickly heat rash, intertrigo, and Candida. Being in that hot, humid environment was a perfect storm to create a Candida infection, and it's been quite a journey dealing with it. I had never really known about it until I went through it, and what I've experienced so far with it has been quite enlightening. As far as I know, Candida is a yeast infection that can express itself when you are in a hot, humid environment and or eating a diet high in sugar and carbs. At least that's the popular belief. That creates inflammation in the digestive system and the intestinal flora and makes it so that yeast Candida albicans overgrows or grows past what a balanced amount would be to the healthy bacterial flora like lactobacillus. So eating more probiotics is really important. Lowering your sugar intake so that it has less to feed on and grow is important. Having less starchy foods, which can kind of play the role that sugar does in feeding it, is also super important. So I've had to let go of certain comfort foods like potatoes, and even rice has aggravated it. And in my system, it shows up as rashes, particularly around my arms, a little bit on my hands. I don't know how visible it is on this camera. I've seen on my chest, a little bit on my torso, low back, but mostly it seems to be like my arms is where it really shows itself. And it's pretty immediate when I experience it. If I eat something and it feeds the Candida, the rash will flare up immediately like a really bad food allergy. So I've had to let go of sugar, I've let go of honey, and it was quite a process to let go of my sugar, what I realized was a sugar addiction. I didn't know I had it because I grew up in the US, and a lot of sweet starchy foods and oily fried foods are very common, especially around holidays. It just goes to show you the power of pop culture and, holiday marketing. Those things are associated with so many childhood memories of like having cakes and things after meals and, for birthdays and holidays and all these sorts of things, certain cookies and barbecues and stuff. I had already kind of let go of some of that being vegan, but to let go of just like sugar itself, like even other forms of sugar like coconut sugar, even stevia and erythritol, which is a sugar alcohol, and usually supposedly a safe substitute for sugar for diabetics and other people trying to avoid sugar, were irritating me, even stevia. So it took a few weeks, took like 2 to 3 solid weeks of experimenting with different types of sugar sources, including honey, Manuka honey, and it was just, a matter of willpower. It was just a matter of weighing the odds. Was it more important for me to have this sugar fix and feel satisfied in a gustatory sense, or was it more important for me to heal my gut, improve my digestion, and heal my skin? Because I do want to clear out these rashes, and I will, no matter what it takes. It took, at least 2 weeks of consistently avoiding sugar and kind of going in and out of like trying things with sugar and without sugar until I finally just like broke through. And it was just this one day I really remember really craving something conventionally sweet, like a candy bar, a Snickers bar used to be my favorites. And I really just felt so upset. I felt so angry and frustrated and like, I really want the sugar, but I really don't want the rash, and I want to punch a wall. Like I really felt aggression. And then eventually I think I did eventually have like a 4th teaspoon of Manuka honey because I had been avoiding sugar and sweeteners in general. When I had it, it was satisfying, but it's actually too sweet. It felt too syrupy to me, like even Manuka honey. Once I calmed down from having my fix, I just felt so ashamed of my reaction, and I couldn't believe how emotional I got over not being able to have the sugary stuff that I wanted and the treats that I had gotten used to out here in Wellington. There's some really yummy sweet vegan treats out here, and I'm just like, man, I just don't want to go back to that. I don't want to be like that. I don't want to be addicted, and I don't want to feel trapped and bound by my desire for sweet things. Like there's so much food out there even without sweeteners and without sweetening things. There's certainly a better way to eat and to have a relationship with food and the flavor of sweetness. just, yeah, really truly going cold turkey since then. It's been about another 3 weeks since then, and I have not had one sugar craving. And it's been amazing, and I just couldn't believe it. I can't believe, like, sometimes I do kind of want more type of like flavor and variety and texture in my food, but I don't need it to be with refined sugar or sweeteners, because I don't want to go back to that, and I don't want to start that process over again, because I don't like feeling that aggressive, especially over food, which is supposed to nourish you and make you feel good and calm and satiated, not addicted and like mental. And so ever since that, I have noticed a huge difference in my candida rashes going down, and going through this process of healing my candida, I realized that I've probably had it for quite a few years without realizing it, just in smaller ways. The area between my hands, it's probably not so noticeable on the camera right now, but they had been having like these weird rashes in between like the fingers where they crease. I could never really figure out how and why that happened, and lately in the past year they've been really stubborn, especially since I've started my travels. And the last time they were this bad, it was when I moved to Southern California for 6 months for Makeup Artistry Academy. It seems like this is kind of like a stress response that's related to like a sense of home or residence, or feeling uprooted and not really having a steady home for me in my life. You know, if I were to make a connection there, and that is a pretty solid pattern in my life. So but yeah, going through candida, I think I've had it for quite a long time. At this point in my life with my relationship with my eczema, I'm almost wondering if it's been there, like I'm wondering if it's really been like a great underlying cause of a lot of my rashes, just like overconsumption of sugar and carbs through starchy foods and processed foods and things like that. Because the rashes that still remain on my arm from different foods that I eat that might have too many sugars or simple sugars in them for the candida yeast to feed on feel very similar to the kind of heat and soreness that I was experiencing when I had the prickly heat rash, and that I've had before with previous food allergies. And this is still sort of like something that's that I'm in the process of figuring out, but it does seem like it's been quite a long-term thing that that's been going on in my body. I used to think it was just food allergies, but you know, now I'm thinking it's like a larger issue of like a weakened immune system, and partially from traveling and just being exposed to different environments and possibly different bacteria from all the different like homes and places that I've lived in for the past few months. Has weakened my digestive system to a degree. So to me, it's just a simple matter of fact of improving my digestion, nourishing my body with, you know, good antifungal herbal teas and the ointments that I make to improve my infections and rashes, and that will just be, you know, one step further in me improving my health overall. Candida has been an interesting teacher, and I look forward to learning more. If you have any further information about Candida and eczema, or have had your own experience healing it or dealing with it, I'd love to learn more about it and what has helped you, and try it myself, because this is certainly a new experience and discovery for me. And hopefully the more that we share this sort of information, the more that's known, and the more that more of us with eczema or people with rashes and sensitive skin will have more tools and information to use to help them heal. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.